Only 7 races remain until a champion will be crowned on Labor Day weekend at the Darlington Raceway. That race, a crown jewel event of the Wawa Cup Series, and so is this one here today. We are at the greatest racetrack in the world, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and this right here, the 24th race of the season in the Wawa Cup Series, a pivotal race not only for the championship, but also for the legacy of these drivers. It's the JBL Brickyard 400, 40 laps around this 2.5-mile speedway in Speedway, Indiana. Who will kiss the bricks here today in the Wawa Cup Series 2024? Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on this Saturday afternoon. We are here for the 24th race of the season, the JBL Brickyard 400. This is one of the 4 crown jewel events of the season in the Wawa Cup Series. The first one won by LJ Sametto in the Daytona 500. Rogel Dorn winning the Coca-Cola 600. Who will get the Brickyard 400? And after what we saw last week at Pocono, there's a very good chance that our race winner here today may be that 41 of Blaine Keys. But 39 other drivers have 40 laps to get to them, including one of your drivers, Echo. We've got Kirsten Bell starting third, and Echo, it's been a very, very interesting couple of weeks here in the Wawa Cup Series. Obviously, you have both of your drivers in the chase, but Blaine Keys did not get off to a good start in the chase. What does he need to do in this race here today to get closer and closer to that championship lead, to have an opportunity at the championship 7 weeks from now?
Well, you just got to run the best you can. The more you win races, the more you lead, the points will take care of themselves. And Keys can't do much about if Rogel Dorn has a great run, but you know what he can do? He can go out there and dominate and win the race once again, like he's done so many times this season.
It's going to be fascinating to see if Blaine Keys can in fact dominate this race like he has at Pocono and New Hampshire. It's going to be fascinating to see if that 41 can have the speed and if the engine can stay the whole way through. Obviously, last week, what we saw at Pocono with Ludovic Charette really messed with the point standings, and Ludovic's got another shot here today. She starts in the 7th position, but unfortunately for her, she is 42 points behind Rogel Dorn in the championship right now because of that engine failure at Pocono. And things could have been so much different. She could have gotten the race victory last week at Pocono if she did not have that issue. But now, 42 points behind Rogel Dorn with 7 races left to go. But of course, it still is Rogel Dorn, the championship leader. 14 points ahead of Thomas Troxel in this race, or in this championship battle, I should say. And Rogel has a good position in this one, starting ahead of Thomas Troxel. Matt Tuck is 16 points behind the runner-up from last week at the Pocono Raceway. Jack Haas is 18 points behind. He is starting deeper in the field in the 11th position. Actually, not really too deep in the field. Troxel, I should mention, starting 23rd in this race. Matt Tuck starting 17th, so they're a little ways behind with Rogel Dorn starting 5th. Then you got Blaine Keys, 19 points behind, our pole sitter, and probably the favorite to win this Brickyard 400 here today. Our Wawa Winner Showdown winner from IRP, Nicholas Samadillo, starts 8th here today. He is 23 points behind. Kirsten Bell starting in the 3rd position. She is 32 points behind. Ludovic Charette is 42 points behind, starting in 7th. Braden Perez starts 9th. He is 56 points behind. Daniel Paulus Jr. starting 35th. Here today is 58 points behind. The defending Brickyard 400 winner, Drew Webb, is 63 points behind and starting 14th here today. And Trey Bartos, 70 points behind, starts in the 26th position. But this championship battle, I mean, if Ludovic Charette has a good race, she might still have a shot at this, but it looks like the top 8 are really the only ones who have a shot here to win this title, the way things have gone. Kirsten Bell has an opportunity at a race win here. Travis Crampton, who's not in the chase, was runner-up in this race a year ago. He's got a great opportunity. Rogel Dorn is up here. Nicholas Samadillo won the winner showdown. But they're all going to be chasing Blaine Keys in the number 41 for Racing Motorsports. Alongside him, the driver who won last night in the Elimination Series race, Brian Webb in the number 13. Great opportunity for Brian Webb to steal one here, one of the biggest races of the year. You have Kirsten Bell to the inside of Travis Crampton in row 2. Rogaldorn and Angel Gutierrez make up row number 3. Ludovic Charette and Nicholas Samadio in row number 4, and then Braden Perez to the inside of Matthew Huber in row 5. There's Jack Haas starting in 11th. Brian, or should I say Drew Webb, starting in the 14th position. Matt Tuck starting in 17th. Thomas Troxel starting in 23rd. Trey Bartow starting in 26th. And then Daniel Paulus Jr. all the way in the back of the field starting in the 35th starting position. We'll see how it all ends up shaking out. A field window of about 22 to 23 laps here today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And this racetrack, as we saw on Wednesday, difficult to make passes, and it's a cool and cloudy day here, which means these guys are going to be going ultra fast around this Indianapolis Motor Speedway for these stock cars. Let's go ahead and get these guys to roll off here for the JBL Brickyard 400. And Echo, I have to ask you have one of your drivers starting up inside the top 3. Will she get it done, or will it be somebody else going to victory lane here in one of the biggest races of the season?
I don't normally like to play favorites, but it's my birthday, so I have to pick one of my drivers. I think Kirsten's going to do it. 2 wins already, great at qualifying, and this is a track that's going to help. That's really going to play to her strengths if you're going to stay up front. It's a little bit hard to pass here, especially track position is going to mean a lot more here. I think the 93 can do it.
And what a birthday present it would be, especially for Kirsten Bell. Only 32 points behind Rogaldorn. Getting any points you can get on that 74 is great because he has a 14-point lead on the field, and the way things run right now, that may only extend. But I feel like Rogal's biggest competitor in this championship may be Blaine Keys in that 41, and what a run he has gone on. Of course, remember, Blaine Keys dominated at Nashville before he had the issue with Sam and Ozkin. He got wrecked out at Chicagoland after running up front in that race. Of course, won at Pocono last week, and heck, if he didn't get spun out in the winner's showdown, probably would have won that race as well. Blaine Keys is the Drew Webb of 2024 here in the Wawa Cup Series. The only thing is, will he have the luck to keep it all the way to Darlington? That is the question. We'll have to see how it all goes down for him. Alongside Brian Webb in the 13. What an opportunity for Brian. Like I mentioned, got the win last night in the Elimination Series race here, so he knows how to get it done. Only this is a much more competitive field, and it's going to be difficult to beat that 41 machine. But hey, it's 40 laps at Indianapolis. Anything can happen in this race, and it's going to be fascinating to see who gets it done here in the JBL Brickyard 400. Well, happy birthday, Echo. Hopefully one of your drivers gets the win for your sake, but regardless of the fact, hope you enjoy this race and hope you enjoy this race at home. We are very excited for this one, always excited for the Brickyard 400, and excited for the real-life one to return tomorrow with the NASCAR Cup Series. But here today, it's the Wawa Cup Series, and we only have 7 races left to go until a champion is decided. This race will play a huge part in determining that champion. The green flag is in the air, and we're underway at the Brickyard in the Brickyard 400.
Really held up the pack further back there. I think might have had some trouble getting going.
And around goes Chase Buck in the 32. And Daniel Paulus Jr. as well. Trey Bartow with heavy damage in the 4 machine.
That's
oh my goodness. And I don't know, like you said, something may have happened to Daniel Paulus Jr. at the start of the race. They got jammed up back in there, and we race back to the line here on lap number 1. Blaine Keys, Kirsten Bell, Rogaldorn, Ludovic Charette, the top 4. Brian Webb did not get going on that start. He is way behind, and Blaine Keys wins the race back to the line on lap number 1. Not at all the way we wanted to start that race. That is for sure.
The inside line seems like they got a really big jump. The 13 just could not get down. And I think the bottom lane's going to be really strong, at least for now. 13 dropped all the way back to 10th in just a lap. You don't want to be up on the outside, I guess.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough place to be. We've seen that play out throughout the races we've had leading up to this one. Brian Webb just did not get going, but bigger issues in the back of the field, and that was Daniel Paulus Jr. and Trey Bartow is going to be out of this race on lap number 1. Trey Bartow actually won the first ever race we had here in Indianapolis on the channel all the way back in the day. But he's not going to get this
make a
one.
lap this time.
Not even going to get a lap in. And he's going to fall even further back. Not at all the chase that Trey Bartow wanted to have. All right, will these drivers come down right here? It's only lap number 1. But this is a very strategic racetrack. We saw strategy come into effect at IRP in the Winter Showdown, and it almost looks like they are going to come down.
I believe
Some guys are going to stay out, and this race is going to get interesting now because Logan Williams, you know he's a strong competitor. These guys aren't going to be too far off. They're all going to have to make one more stop in this race, so we'll have to see how this ends up shaking things out. 2 drivers staying out. Logan Williams and Roberto Crown Jr.
I think what they're trying to do here, I think the plan here is pit now and only one stop this race, whereas some of these guys might not be able to one stop it under green.
Well, our fuel window here today is about 22 to 23 laps, so this was anticipated to be a one-stop race, so going to be interesting to see if that strategy ends up playing out for Logan Williams and Roberto Crown Jr. Hey, Logan Williams almost won the Winter Showdown himself. He stayed out on that last caution. And these 93. Guys topping off on fuel right here, while some guys are taking tires, so multiple strategies going on right here. Blaine Keys is going to get sent behind just a little bit as Kirsten Bell wins the race off. Ludovic Charette, Brian Webb, Blaine Keys, Rogel Dorn, Angel Gutierrez, and LJ Semedo off the pit lane, with Logan Williams and Roberto Crown Jr. staying out. So this caution changing everything at the beginning of this race. Let's go ahead and see what happened in the caution that brought out the wreck that brought out the caution, I should say. Chase Buck getting sent around, Daniel Paulus Jr. and Trey Bartow getting the worst of this one here in the JBL Brickyard 400. Well, this is quite an interesting situation. Trey Bartow did not get going on the start. It was not Daniel Paulus Jr., but rather the 4. However, that had nothing to do with the wreck that we are about to see. You have Chase Buck in a TP Motorsports sandwich right here. Tanner Parton ahead of him right there, and then Brad Stover looking to make the move as Buck tried to make a move on his teammate of Tanner Parton. And right there, contact made between the 32 and the 88. Don't really have a good angle. Here we go. Of this wreck, and Brad Stover just sends the 32 around and in the outside wall. And then Trey Bartow, who I think had a tire go down right around the start of this race. You see him back in there behind Andrew Miller, Carson Miller in the 31. That 88 just sent Chase Buck into the outside wall. Anthony McClure, didn't get a chance to mention Anthony McClure. This is his first Cup start of the season. Definitely not the way he wanted it to start out, but he is still going to be able to continue. And then right there, Trey Bartow right into the rear of Chase Buck. And a tough, tough break for those guys involved, especially Chase Buck. And Bartow just had one bad thing happen and then another, and that's going to take Bartow out of the race here at Indianapolis. Daniel Paulus Jr. will be able to continue. He got sent around right there, but Chase Buck and Trey Bartow are going to be out of the race because of that one here from the Brickyard.
Yeah, Buck and Parton racing. Stover goes for it underneath, and just too many people going for the same spot at once. Nothing Chase Buck could really do after that. And Trey Bartow can't see anything, nowhere to go for him. Tough luck for all these cars, especially Bartow and Paulus, who really needed some good runs in the chase. That's not going to help them.
So this is going to create a bit of an interesting race because most of the drivers came down the pit lane except for 2 of them. Logan Williams in the 95 and Roberto Crown Jr. in the 5. So we'll have to see what they do on the restart. Blaine Keys and all these guys are also going to be racing. I can't remember if Blaine Keys got out in 3rd or not, but I think he's behind a couple of these guys. I think Kirsten Bell, Ludovic Charette were the 2 who stayed out, or should I say, took fuel only on this stop. So they're going to be ahead of Blaine Keys, but Blaine does have those fresher tires. So there's so many different strategies going on. That is the thing I'm trying to say, and it's going to be a very interesting restart here in the JBL Brickyard 400. Let's see how it all goes down here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We are back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway after a lap 1 accident here in the JBL Brickyard 400. Daniel Paulus Jr. slowing on the start of the race, and Chase Buck, Trey Bartow out of it here in Indianapolis, but all other 38 drivers in the field still on the lead lap, led by Logan Williams and Roberto Crown Jr., who both stayed out under the caution. Everybody else came down. Kirsten Bell, Ludovic Charette, Brian Webb, I believe, topped off on fuel, and right sides on Blaine Keys, Rogel Dorn, Angel Gutierrez, LJ Semedo, Travis Crampton. That is the top 10. Let's see where some of our other chasers currently run. You got Braden Perez, Jack Haas, and Matt Tuck just outside the top 10 right there. Thomas Troxel is deep in the field for this one. Keep that in mind. Drew Webb is deep in the field, and Nicholas Samedillo as well. An extended pit stop for our Winter Showdown champion. And then Troxel all the way in the 34th position after winning 2 weeks ago at Chicagoland. Not necessarily a good run for him right now, but split strategies. This could get a little interesting here. Everybody still has one more stop to make in this race as we restart on lap 5 of 40 here in the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis. And already, movement being made. Brian Webb with a block there on Blaine Keys and trying to get around Ludovic Charette here at the jump.
Yeah, Webb, I think that was half offensive, half defensive move there for the 13. Wanted to make a move. You're going to have to make them real quick and on these restarts because it's going to be a lot harder to make them at any other point in the race.
Well, how about Logan Williams in the 95, who, if he had come down the pit lane and taken tires, he could have been the winner of that Winter Showdown and not his teammate, but here he is, trying to get his second win of the season. He got the win at Gateway earlier on, and Logan's been finding a lot of speed as of late. Of course, he has this lead by virtue of staying out, but we know that 95 is quick. We know Appalachian Motorsports is fast, and how about Brian Webb? He looks fast to the inside for third on Kirsten Bell. And keep in mind, these guys took some fresh right-side tires, and because of that, they're starting to charge their way through these guys who win fuel only, like Kirsten Bell and Ludovic Charette. Blaine Keys also making a move right here. And how about Braden Perez, Matt Tuck, Jack Haas finding themselves in the top 10, Travis Crampton and Bruno Diacomo getting shuffled out of line right there. And how about our defending Brickyard 400 champion, Drew Webb, trying to work his way through the field here in the 99 machine. It's been a tough run for him in this chase so far as he sits 11th in points, 63 behind coming in. But hey, he got this win a year ago. Will he get it again here today? But Logan Williams starting to pull away from Roberto Crown Jr. Blaine Keys looking on Brian Webb right there. But how about, oh, never mind. I was about to say, how about Brian Webb, but how about Blaine Keys taking third away from the 13 here on lap 7?
Yeah, these guys, what they got to do, they got to be careful not to spend too much time battling because otherwise, that's going to let Williams and Crown keep pulling away. I think Keys, Bell, Webb, this whole group, I think they're faster than the 95 and the 5, but the 95 and the 5 have the advantage of clean air and track position at the moment.
Lots of shuffling going on back here. Brian Webb to the inside of Kirsten Bell, Ludovic Charette, Braden Perez in this top 10. Rogel racing with Matt Tuck, Jack Haas. I know you like seeing both of your drivers in the top 10 right here. But right now they don't quite have the speed that Blaine Keys does in that 41 machine. And I tell you what, you do not want Blaine Keys starting up front in one of these races. And he has plenty of time to make up that deficit that he has. He's only 19 behind with 7 races left to go. And after what we saw at Chicagoland, he was 40 points behind at Chicagoland after that race going in the Pocono, then won Pocono and cut it in half. And now he's up to second as he gets around Roberto Crown Jr. But Logan Williams held off that 41 in IRP on Tuesday night. And if there's anyone that can get to Logan Williams, it might be, well, actually, if there's anyone to get to Blaine Keys, it might be Logan Williams, because that 95, when they are good, they are really, really good. Kirsten Bell trying to get around Roberto Crown Jr. Not enough momentum right there. She actually had to check out of it. And Braden Perez looking to get some runs here. Matt Tuck as well trying to move up through the field. And Matt Tuck ahead of Rogel right now. Matt would also like to finish ahead of Blaine Keys, but that might be difficult here today because this 41 is all over the back bumper of Logan Williams right now, and he might take this lead away from the 95.
Yeah, you're in 1 and 2. You're going to be they're getting a lot better runs on the inside of 1 and 2 than they are in 3 and 4. Turns 3 and 4, I've noticed the car on the outside usually can hold the line a little bit better, but not so much in turns 1 and 2. Here goes Keys again.
And it looks like Blaine Keys is going to make this look easy for the race lead on lap number 9. Blaine Keys back out front where he started here in this JBL Brickyard 400. Braden Perez is now up to 4th. Then it's Jack Haas, Ludovic Charette, Matt Tuck. Lost a few positions right there in that exchange, and they are shuffling around quite a bit back in there. Meanwhile, Thomas Trossel working his way back through the field, but once again, Nicholas Samedillo struggling out there. Of course, he got the win Tuesday night, but he's all the way down in 30th right now. Not exactly how we expected Samedillo to roll, especially considering how well his teammates doing right now. Very fascinating stuff going on there at Appalachian Motorsports, but fascinating stuff at Racing Motorsports with Blaine Keys. And man, I keep on feeling for Aaron Abel. Blaine Keys leaving this team next year to go to Pacific Racing. But Aaron has his guy this year, and Aaron Abel, Racing Motorsports, they're the winningest team all season. All 4 of those wins with Blaine Keys, and who knows, they may get number 5 with Blaine Keys here today. But I got to give a shout out to his teammate, Justin Zidell, currently running 12th. You know, Justin has not had the season his teammate has had this year. He's also leaving Racing Motorsports at the end of 2024. But Justin having a good run here today in that 43, and maybe he will find himself closer to the front as this race goes along. But starting to string out a little bit here at Indianapolis. And you got Jack Haas right here in 5th, Ludovic Charette, Rogaldorn, Kirsten Bell, Matt Tuck, Braden Perez. They're all drivers who can definitely contend for this win if they are given an opportunity, given a restart. Of course, we still have ourselves a cycle of pit stops for all of these guys. And while Blaine Keys can stay out a little bit longer than Logan Williams and Roberto Crown Jr., they're all pretty much on equal footing at this point. So a good call. I think it was a great call out of the 95 and the 5 to stay out right there. Get that track position because, hey, they don't have to make an extra stop compared to all these other guys. Everyone has 1 stop left in this race.
And Perez is going to go for a spot on Crown here. And now I think you're going to start to see that these cars that stayed out, they're just not going to be able to hold with these faster cars that are coming up through the field. Perez and Haas are going to make their way by Crown easily here. They're going to have to set their sights on Williams, though. That 95 has been a bit tough to crack so far.
And he's sticking right here with the 41 as well. How about that for the 95?
Yeah, he's kept right up there on the on that different strategy. Then again, I don't know if 1 green flag lap is really all that much on tires, but still worth noting that, you know, Crown slipped back a lot, but Williams has been able to stay up in 2nd so far.
Braden Perez up to 3rd. You know, he's a driver who's yet to go to victory lane this season. I'm sure he would love to get one. He's 56 behind Rogaldorn in the championship, but Rogel's still up here as well in the 74. Now in the 5th position, Kirsten Bell, and a battle between the Grattan Autosport teammates, and then 3 wide behind them, and Matt Tuck. Wow, that was a bold move there. He had to make sure that 13 was clear, and thankfully he was in that 54. I believe Matt Tuck's a bit faster than Ludovic at this point, as they are shuffling all over the place. They all got around Roberto Crown Jr. right there. Brad Stover up here in the 88 machine, running inside the top 15. Great run for Brad in this race. Philip Torres is here. Justin Zidell is here as well. But outside of Logan Williams, all the chasers have gotten around the non-chasers so far, and Braden Perez might get around the non-chaser Logan Williams right here as we start lap 14 here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, and I noticed that Jack Haas has kind of just been trying to follow Perez through all these cars. Hasn't really tried to pass the 23, just staying behind and letting the 23 pave the way. The 93 is trying a very similar strat with the 74 right now, but at this point, I don't think that those two have many cars that they're going to run down and kind of bulldoze through together. Seems that the more these cars get strung out, the more they'll kind of accordion back together, and it leads to some really good racing.
How about Braden Perez now up to the 2nd position as he gets around Logan Williams? Of course, next weekend going to be a big weekend for both Williams brothers. Of course, the 2 drivers at Team Williams, and then Logan himself. I know they're focused on that. Logan's going to go back on his brother's car right there, but he's not going to be able to get the nose of the inside and hold it. And Perez will clear for 2nd on Logan Williams. Jack Haas in the 39 machine, trying to close in here and take the 3rd position away. And I feel like these tires are starting to come into effect now, as Jack Haas, Braden Perez both getting around the 95 of Logan Williams. Of course, Perez leaving this team at the end of the year as well. But I know that Andrew would love to get his first win of the season. And Braden Perez won 3 times last year. As Roll's got a nose to the inside of Jack Haas. That's for 4th, as Jack had to check it up behind Logan Williams. You just got to find the perfect spot to make a pass, because if you do not get to the driver ahead of you correctly, you lose the momentum, and the guys behind you get a huge advantage. And that's something we see quite a bit here at Indianapolis. But there is a way to make a pass made, and Matt Tuck is going to show us that. Diving to the inside in turn 1, going to clear Kirsten Bell. And this 54 going to move up into the 5th position right now and bring Ludovic Charette along with him. How about that move out of Ludovic? Hey, she's made it much further than she did last week, so she's having a better race at least up to this point.
It helps that Pocono and Indy are same length. You can easily measure the 2. Hey, how about Braden Perez? Doing a pretty good job in 2nd. He could steal another win. He hasn't really had it. He hasn't really had that kind of luck this season so far, but
He's got a shot here.
I think that'd be very welcome for him and this team.
It absolutely would be a welcome win, and he's going to try for it here on Blaine Keys.
Ooh,
and he's got a nose to the inside of the 41, and we've got a new race leader here at Indianapolis. Braden Perez for Team Williams has taken it away from Blaine Keys. And maybe that 41 isn't quite as good as he was last week. Remember, there's a range in those ratings, so get a random number each time. And some guys have higher ranges than others in certain aspects. So many factors that go into how well these drivers do each and every week, and maybe Braden Perez might just have the good numbers today, as he is now the race leader in this JBL Brickyard 400. Have to give a shout out to Logan Williams, still in this top 5. Rogel Dorn, Jack Haas, Matt Tuck, Ladovic Charette, Kirsten Bell, Brian Webb, and how about Justin Zeidel inside the top 10 here as we start lap 18 in the Brickyard 400. We're closing in on the cycle of pit stops for these drivers, and it looks like this cycle is going to happen under a green flag, and that is going to make things very, very interesting if that ends up being the case.
And I think you're going to see the 95 and the 5 come to pit road first, because those two stayed out. They're going to have a little less fuel than these other cars. Williams and Crown, what they might have is they might have a tire advantage.
Especially that 95. I think Roberto might be a bit too far behind at this point.
Yeah.
And again, not too bad for him, running in 13th. But Logan's definitely going to be the benchmark for it, because he is still running with these guys. And in comparison to Blaine Keys, Braden Perez, Rogel Dorn, that's where it's going to be. It will be past halfway for both of those drivers. So still a few laps until we get to that point. And Blaine's going to try to take it back away, and he's got it. This is reminding me so much of last year's battle between Drew Webb and Travis Crampton. And Perez is actually going to fall behind even further because Logan's got a shot. Rogel Dorn to the inside as well. Just gets stuck in that outside lane, and you got no grip up there. And Blaine Keys starting to pull back away here in this Brickyard 400.
Blaine Keys is doing everything he can to maximize those points. But there's only so much he can do before that 74 just starts showing up. Rogel Dorn's just been a master of consistency this season. Not a ton of wins, but enough to where he's a competitor every week.
You say not a ton of wins. He's got the second most wins of the season with 3.
True.
Only behind Blaine Keys. So 1 COTA, 1 Charlotte, 1 Nashville, and looking to get a second win in the chase here. There's so many of these strong drivers up front, including your 2 drivers here. Of course, Jack Haas got shuffled out of line, so he's slipping back a little bit. I feel like anybody from Kirsten Bell on up can easily win this race. They have, Blaine has not pulled away significantly from these guys. And, that's a sign that these guys have an opportunity. I think Braden Perez has a very fast car in this 23. Of course, the draft comes into effect as well. And how about Perez making a move on Rogel Dorn there for the 3rd position. Matt Tuck in the 54 as well, looking to the inside. And
95's coming
it's going to be right at halfway for Logan Williams, but he will be good to go. So we're going to have to see how this ends up shaking out for Logan Williams and Roberto Crown Jr. because they have those caution laps as well. I'm not sure if that's going to play a factor or not. Bruno Giacomo also coming down the pit lane back there, so cycle has begun for those guys. And Blaine Keys in the 41.
28 on their cycle, so I'd be interested to see how that plays out. I'd also be interested to see how this potential tire undercut might work out for the 95 and the 5. Because if they can undercut and the tires actually, give them an advantage, it's going to be tough to pass them.
And Blaine's going to come down. No, he's not.
Coming in.
He's not.
Nope.
It's an interesting entry right there. I wouldn't expect these guys to come down for at least a couple laps, but he had to check up into the corner right there. And the tires are starting to wear out on these guys as well, which I also think is a disadvantage for him. And Perez was able to hit his marks right there. So Logan Williams is going to be lapped right here, which not necessarily what you want here. We're going to have to see if he can surpass these guys in any way, shape, or form once the cycle clears through.
Yeah, he's just hoping that there's no yellow in the next few laps.
Because he will be caught a lap down if that ends up being the case. Hey, it was a strategy race on Tuesday at IRP. Will it be a strategy race here today? Matt Tuck for 3rd on Rogel Dorn. And Matt Tuck wants to finish ahead of Rogel Dorn because he's the guy he's chasing, 16 points behind. A win for Matt Tuck would be huge in terms of the title. And who knows, he has a good opportunity at doing so. But so does Braden Perez in this 23. And a race win would put him closer, but I still don't think he's close enough to really have an opportunity at the championship this season. But a win is a win, and a win is especially a win here in Indianapolis. And all these guys want to get it done. All of these top drivers all in the chase right now from Kirsten Bell on up. Other chase drivers struggling here today. Of course, Drew Webb has moved up to 12th. Thomas Troxel has also moved up to the 16th position. And Sam Benito trying to rebound in the 59. He's all the way down in 22nd right now, which means those guys are going to slip back in the points, with Rogaldorn especially still in the top 10. And Matt Tuck looking to take second from Braden Perez here as we're closing in on the cycle of pit stops for our drivers, for our race leaders. And here it is.
I think Tuck's coming in. I think Keys is
They're all coming down, and they're going to follow Blaine Keys all in a line. Logan's going to unlap himself right there, and here we go. They win. They went about 17 laps right there, didn't they? Trying to think, because
they came in a lap like 2, so they've been about 21
so
laps.
they went much longer, so they will be able to make it to the end. I'm a little bit skeptical on Logan Williams and Roberto Crown Jr. considering how long they, or how should I say, how long they were out. They were about 20 laps right there, but with the caution lap, so we're gonna have to see if that ends up being a factor. Blaine Keys in the 41, first driver down the pit lane. And how will they come out the pit lane? They were all on each other here. Where's Matt Tuck in the 54 at? He started 17th in this race. Keep that in mind. He's already done with his stop. He's coming back down. Blaine Keys, of course, 4 tires for all of these drivers. Here comes the 54. Blaine's going to come off right here, but Matt Tuck's going to have some momentum here as he took second away as they were coming down the pit lane. They're 3 wide off the exit here with Vladovic Charette, Kirsten Bell, and Jack Haas. They figure it out. And here's the moment of truth. Will Logan Williams gain an advantage on our race leaders?
Williams, I think
he's going to get around Matt Tuck. He's going to get around Blaine Keys. I feel like he's going to get around Blaine Keys at least. Does he have enough momentum to make the pass? That's the big question. He's going to have to cut down right here. Oh, my goodness. Blaine almost got into him. Blaine had to stay low, and Logan Williams back out front here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
So, hey, that undercut did work out for the 95.
But will it last? Because Blaine is right there. And, boy, you know that the tires are going to be a bit fresher on that 41. Uh-oh, a bit of a shake right there to Blaine Keys down the backstretch. Is something amiss on this 41 machine? I remember, I saw that little bobble that he had. I remember that bobble from Drew Webb in last year's Michigan race on that last lap, so that scared me, but it does appear that Blaine should be good to go for now. Matt Tuck not too far behind. 2.5 seconds that lap. Of course, he's going to start sniffing the draft on that 41 machine, and he's going to have an opportunity. It may just be Pocono all over again between the 54 and the 41. Braden Perez, Rogaldorn, Brad Stover. What a run for Brad Stover here in this Brickyard 400. Up to the 6th position around these guys. You got Kirsten Bell, Ladovic Charette, Jack Haas, and Justin Zeidel, the top 10. Roberto Crown Jr. in 11th on the same strategy. Uh-oh. Philip Torres, Avery Alford. They almost got into it there as Drew Webb's coming in the 99. Some great stuff going on in the back of this field here at Indianapolis. We go back up front, though. Blaine Keys is closing in on Logan Williams for this race lead, and Matt Tuck is right there in 3rd. Rogaldorn and Braden Perez battling with each other for the 4th position, and here comes the 41, looking to the inside for the race lead on lap 26. They're side by side for the race lead here in Indianapolis, and Logan's going to try to hold the outside lane on the 41.
Not going to do it. Great job by Keys to just stick it through there. But now what I'd be curious about, Keys is leading now. Will Williams be able to hold a draft on him? Because I think that part of what's keeping these guys, up here, I think they're just able to get a nice streamlined draft on each other.
And Matt Tuck is right here in this 54 as well. And you know he's thinking about Pocono from last week and how close he was to getting around that 41 of Blaine Keys near the end. Just did not have the speed to get into turn 3 on that last lap to pass him. Well, Matt wants to get around Logan as quick as he possibly can so he can get around that 41 and get up in that championship battle, because let's put it this way. If Blaine Keys wins this race, while Rogaldorn's still going to be the points leader, that 41 has all the momentum going into these last 6 races. And Matt Tuck wants to be in that momentum as well if he can get this win here today. For second, Matt Tuck makes the pass on Logan Williams. It's 13 laps to go, and Matt Tuck is looking to close in on Blaine Keys for this race lead. He's got a good shot at doing so.
Very nice move there by Tuck. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's won a race this year, has he?
He has not. He has not won a race in the Wawa Cup Series since the Napa 400 at Auto Club in 2023. And that was the third ever race of the Wawa Cup Series as well. So it has been a long time for Matt Tuck here. Of course, retiring at the end of the season to become a team owner. He's got a nose to the inside of Blaine Keys. He's going to make this look easy, isn't he? Here we go, side by side across the line. It's going to be 12 laps to go on the JBL Brickyard 400. Will he hold the inside on turn 1? He will! Almost getting in the Blaine Keys. And Matt Tuck has taken the race lead away here at Indianapolis with 12 laps to go on the Brickyard 400.
Keys really tried to cover the inside, but Tuck was just there too quickly. What a move by Matt Tuck. But he's going to have to hang on and hope Keys can stay behind him.
Blaine's going to have the draft now, and he's going to have the slipstream. Will he make the move to take the lead back away? That's what he did at Pocono before the caution came out. But now Matt Tuck has the clean air. He has the advantage, and he's going to lead here with 11 laps to go in the Brickyard 400. Back in here, Braden Perez is 4th. Brad Stover is in the top 5. How about this for Brad Stover? He will be joining Durrani Racing next season. It has not been a good season with this team, obviously. Ludovic Charette is 6th. Kirsten Bell, Rogel Dorn, Justin Zeidel, and Jack Haas, the top 10. And Blaine is still right there on the back bumper of Matt Tuck for this race lead.
I was going to say, I think Keys has left up most laps led at this point, so the only thing left to do now, if he's going to get max points,
that was close, but Tuck got the run.
What a run by Tuck to keep it there on the outside.
Oh boy, we're in for a show here in Indianapolis. Matt Tuck and Blaine Keys going after it here. And Blaine Keys, mind to tell you, drives for Matt Tuck in the Truck Series. And Blaine Keys,
here he goes.
Once again looking to the inside. Matt's going to try to get that outside lane. They'll work to his advantage. They're still side by side. Logan Williams is still about a second behind of these guys. And Blaine Keys has taken lead back away with 10 laps to go here in the Brickyard 400. So still enough time for Matt Tuck, but he's got to reel him back in here. And watch out for these guys. They're in a line. If they stay in a line, they might be able to close in a little bit. And we also may run into lap traffic. Daniel Paulus Jr., who has already caused one issue here today, is closing in. And Daniel Paulus Jr. is going to drive for Matt Tuck next season. Maybe he wants to make his future team owner happy here. But Matt Tuck may not have to use his help. Another good run off the exit of the corner. He's right back on the back bumper of Blaine Keys. 9 laps to go here in Indianapolis. And back to the inside for the race lead in turn number 1.
What a battle. These two have had 2 races in a row. 2 points races in a row, I should say. Great job by Tuck to take the lead, but he's going to have to hold off Keys' next charge.
Blaine really lost a lot of momentum, and that brought Logan Williams back in. I think Matt would love to see Logan get around that 41, because I don't know if Logan's going to go for it as hard as Blaine will. But then again, Blaine has quite a bit to lose right here, being a championship competitor. And he cannot risk a second-place finish in terms of this championship. A second-place finish is exactly what Blaine Keys needs. And look at the run Matt Tuck is getting now on the 41 machine. This is the largest lead we've seen almost all day. And with now 8 laps to go in the Brickyard 400, Matt Tuck has a half-second lead on Blaine Keys. They are closing in on Daniel Paulus Jr. That 24 is up to speed. But
they are going to catch him.
They are going to catch him. That's for sure.
Ooh, Perez got absolutely freight trained. There goes Stover by him. There comes Rogel Dorn.
Ludovic's up to 4th, by the way. Rogel Dorn to the inside of Brad Stover. Rogel Dorn trying to minimize the damage that Matt Tuck might cause in terms of this title race. Same with Blaine Keys as well. Both of those drivers probably 2 of the top contenders against Rogel Dorn. We'll see where Troxel is. Drew Webb's a little bit deeper than he'd like to be, down in 18th. Thomas Troxel is all the way down in the 24th position. Nicholas Samadio is 21st. Not a good day for those 2 drivers, who are much better, I feel like, than what is suggested by how they are running right now.
The 93 just went to the inside on the 74.
Oh, boy.
That could bring some help for these cars that are in the chase.
And Rogel's going to lose a couple more positions. And, of course, every point matters here in the Wawa Cup Series. Every position matters. And how about Justin Zeidel racing with these guys as well? Of course, his teammate is in a battle right now with Matt Tuck for the race lead. But Matt's got a good gap on this 41. And does he have enough of a gap? Remember Dover. And I don't want to mention it. I don't want to jinx it. Of course, you were at the beneficiary of that one because Kirsten Bell won that race. But remember Dover. Matt Tuck was dominant. They didn't put enough fuel in the car in the last pit stop. And then because of that, they ended up failing to finish on the lead lap after leading the most laps in that race. And Matt Tuck almost did not recover from that. He barely made the chase. But after the run last week at Pocono and the run that he's got going on right now, Matt Tuck is in a great position. But he still has 5.5 laps to go to get this race victory if he's going to get it. And he's got to get around Daniel Paulus Jr. here as well. This is going to be really interesting to see what happens around this 24 because this could hold up Matt Tuck and could give an advantage to Blaine Keys.
Yeah, Tuck's his biggest challenge now, I think, is going to be getting around the 24 cleanly and making sure that he keeps the gap with the 41. Because right now,
24 is not too slow, so it's going to be a bit harder to pass him because he is up to speed. He's just been off the pace. Tough break for Daniel Paulus Jr. Not a good run for him here in this one. All the way down to 38th, of course, was caught up in that accident earlier on, and I think the damage is affecting him. Matt Tuck trying to get the slipstream, maybe have a shot at going into turn number 3 on him. I think that might be the case here. Will he make the move? Uh-oh, he's not making the move quite yet. That's going to hold him up. Uh-oh. Matt's got to be careful not to be held up by him too much right here because that 41's going to come really fast if he doesn't. He's got to make the move off the exit right here if he's going to have any shot. And he's going to finally peek to the inside right there. Hopefully trap that 24 in between him and Blaine Keys, at least for his sake. I think that'll be the case. I don't think Blaine's going to have enough momentum here. And he won't.
He tried.
He's got a lap car now. That's good for Matt Tuck. Of course, Daniel Paulus Jr. driving for Matt Tuck's team next year. And, Daniel knows that. He might be trying to hold this 41 up a little bit. Meanwhile, don't look now. Ludovic Charette has closed up to the back bumper of Logan Williams and is looking for third. And if things get crazy enough up here, she could have a shot at making this a Grattan Autosport 1-2 here today. The thing is, next time by, it's only 3 laps to go here in the JBL Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis. Blaine Keys has finally gotten around Daniel Paulus Jr. He lost a lot of ground to him right there, and that's exactly what Matt Tuck wants to see in his rearview mirror. 3 laps to go here at Indianapolis.
It's down all the speed now. Tuck's got to just drive it around cleanly 3 more times.
And for third.
I don't think he doesn't have to be faster than the 41. He just has to be consistent and not give up too much. And Brad Stover dropped all the way back.
Got stuck in that outside lane down the 9th. How about Justin Zeidel in the 6th position?
Great run.
He would love to see his teammate get the win, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Matt Tuck's got a 1.1 second lead right here, coming to 2 laps to go in the Brickyard 400. Got to give a huge shout out to Logan Williams as well. That strategy has paid off. He's going to get a good finish out of this one, assuming he can make it to the end. Him making it to this point is good for a race leader, so we should not have an issue in terms of that, thankfully. It's just going to come down to raw speed on these last 2 laps. But Matt Tuck's got 1.3 seconds on Blaine Keys now. And Ludovic Charette's got to get around Daniel Paulus Jr. and have a shot at Blaine for that 2nd position. And every point matters in this championship. And I'm sure that Ludovic would love to help out his teammate in terms of the title race here. And maybe get another point
Keys
buffer.
Isn't going to give it that easy.
No, that's not going to happen that easily. Here we go. Matt Tuck coming around turn 4 to take the white flag here in the JBL Brickyard 400 in Indianapolis. White flag in the air for the 24th race of the season, and Matt Tuck has a 1.5 second lead with 1 lap to go. Will he be able to hold on the whole way through and get his 2nd career win in the Wawa Cup Series? Ludovic Charette wants to make this a 1-2. There's a huge opportunity at that happening. That 51 is closing in 1.7 seconds now for Matt Tuck. and Grattan Autosport. Wouldn't you believe it? Grattan Autosport only has one win all season long. That was Ludovic Charette at Kansas earlier this season. And based on how well they have run this season, leading the owners' standings, they're going to pull away from your team, Echo, if this holds true to the end. Matt Tuck through turn 3, one more corner to go for the driver of the number 54 for Grattan Autosport. Matt Tuck, retiring at the end of the year, is going to make a statement here today and say, I'm not done yet. Matt Tuck's going to get his second career win in the Wawa Cup Series, and he wins the Brickyard 400.
What a drive by Matt Tuck today. Just about 6 more races till he's done. But you can't count him out. And they're going to learn that.
Mm-hmm.
What a drive.
How about that for Matt Tuck? Of course, had a solid run last week at Pocono. They just flopped positions up front from that Pocono race. Matt Tuck gets the race win here in the JBL Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis. And it was almost a Grattan Autosport 1-2, but not quite. Ludovic Charette finishing on the podium right behind Blaine Keys, Logan Williams, Justin Zeidel with a top 5 finish. That is Justin's first top 5 of the season. You have to give a huge shout out to him right there. Jack Haas, a great run for Jack Haas and a great run for Kirsten Bell, but with how tight this title race is between these top competitors, top 10 doesn't usually cut it, but Matt Tuck gets the race victory here, his second career win in the Wawa Cup Series. He has shown a lot of strength as of late here, and he is getting good at the right time. He's not going to quite be the points leader. Rogaldorn finished 7th, but it's going to be really, really close going into Road America next week. And Echo, I've got to ask you, how do you think this championship battle is going to play out now? Matt Tuck and Blaine Key seem to be the 2 strongest guys, especially considering that Thomas Troxel and Nicholas Sambenio did not have good runs in this race, especially Troxel finishing 24th. So how do you see the rest of this title race going out here for these last 6 races?
I think you can't count out Rogaldorn. You can't count out Tuck and Keys, obviously. I think you got to give a shot to Jack Haas, though. Just very slow, consistent. Got us another 6th place today. I think he gained points on Rogaldorn. I think you're going to have to watch out for those 4. Maybe see if Thomas Troxel can rebound as well. I mean, there's a ton of guys that have a shot at this title. And we could see a finale like we saw last season, or even bigger, with potentially like 6 to 7 drivers in contention in the last race.
And that's what happened last year as well. At Darlington, we had a lot of guys in championship contention near the end of that one. And who knows, we may end up having the same thing here this season in the Wawa Cup Series. Oh boy, I know how it's going to be in the chat after this one, so brace yourselves. But Matt Tuck gets the win here at Indianapolis. Blaine Keys, Ludovic Charette, Logan Williams, Justin Zeidel, the top 5. Good days for Blaine Keys. Good day for Rogaldorn. Even though Matt Tuck and Blaine Keys both finished ahead of him, he's still going to be the points leader. And those 3 guys are going to be the 3 up top. Jack Haas is also going to be a bit up there, though he didn't really gain too much on Rogel. He's going to be about 17 points behind, but still very much within range, so watch out for him. Kirsten didn't really gain much. He was already 32 points behind. Sam Medeo was going to fall back. Ludovic Charette was already a ways back, though she will gain a bit. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be tight up front. Well, Rogaldorn's still going to be the points leader. We'll have to see how the rest of it ends up falling. There's the rest of the results right there. Of course, we had that wreck on lap 1. That was the only caution of the day. Chase Buck and Trey Barger getting caught up, but what a brilliant race that was. Seeing the best drivers in the series go after it here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What a treat that was. And Matt Tuck got his revenge from what happened at Dover. And even though Dover is my home racetrack, this racetrack here, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, is my favorite racetrack. And you know what? Winning the Brickyard 400 is a little bit bigger than winning the Morris Children's Hell 400, respectively. Not to tuck your driver down with that one, but I think Matt Tuck would rather have this one. And hey, he still has 6 more chances to go. Of course, he's got his home race at Watkins Glen 2 weeks from now. That did not go well for him last year. So we'll have to see what kind of momentum these guys have. And this is the big wild card. We got 2 road course races, one right after another here during this Olympic break, because there's no NASCAR the next 2 weeks. So we've got to do something here for these guys, and we've got ourselves a couple of great road courses. Road America and Watkins Glen coming up. Of course, next week at noon Eastern Time. Next Saturday at noon Eastern Time, it's the Storm Bowling 400K. That's going to be a fascinating race, no doubt about it, because we're going to see different players up front on the road course this late in the season. But we'll still see some of our chasers up front as well in that one. But hey, thank you so much for joining me, Echo. I'm sorry you didn't get the birthday present you wanted with Kirsten or Jack winning this race, but a double top 10 ain't too bad, and a great race isn't too bad either. Of course, we're all fans of this series, and we love to see a great race, and we saw a great one here today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Here are the points for the Wawa Cup Series after 24 races, and we'll see you guys next week from Roan, America for the Storm Bowling 400K. On behalf of Echo Evans-Ross, congratulations to Matt Tuck on his Brickyard 400 race win, and I will see you guys later.